Oh no, the classical liberals are mad at me. So I was on a stream today for about 2 hours doing an in-depth analysis about actual Antifa literature, a publication that they wrote that was about 50 pages long. We listened to them read the entire thing. We analyzed their language. We analyzed what the content of it says. And you would think that classical liberals like James Lindsay and Konstantin Kisin and Colin Wright would be interested in what primary source evidence actually says about what the left believes. You would think so. Because these are the same classical liberals that say, we believe in objective reality. But when I'm literally showing people objective reality, saying this is what Antifa believes, here is what their publications say. James Lindsay and Colin Wright and Konstantin Kisin, all good classical liberals, were on Twitter saying, she's a narcissist, she's a psychopath, she's a sociopath, she's dangerous. How am I dangerous? Because I'm showing primary source evidence? Since when do classical liberals, good classical liberals who believe in objective reality, since when do they consider primary source evidence to be dangerous? Well, they consider it to be dangerous because it disrupts their narrative, because it counters the arguments that they're making, because they cannot debate me on the primary source evidence. James Lindsay is terrified to debate me. I have an open challenge to James Lindsay. I said I will debate you anytime, anywhere on what the far left is doing, as long as I can show primary source video evidence. He has yet to take me up on it, but he makes attack after attack after attack publicly, saying I have every personality disorder because the primary source evidence disagrees with him, saying that I'm all these things on the internet that I'm not, that are not based in reality at all. And by the way, he's also attacking Catholics and Christians and, oh wait, anyone who disagrees with him. And now Colin Wright and Konstantin Kisin have jumped on that bandwagon because Colin Wright and Konstantin Kisin also cannot grapple with the primary source evidence I'm showing people. Listen, the reality is this. Conservative grifters like Konstantin Kisin, and I shouldn't even say conservatives, they're not conservatives. They're classical liberals. Konstantin Kisin and James Lindsay and Colin Wright want the Republican Party to literally be taken over by classical liberals. The reality is I'm far more right-wing than all of them put together. And that is the problem. Because I will not shill their narrative. I will not say, I'm comfortable with classical liberalism taking over the Republican Party. Do you want to know why? Because if that happens, the left wins. The left loves James Lindsay. They love Konstantin Kisin. They love Colin Wright. Because the lies that those three are putting out into the public allows the real far left to operate completely unopposed. I have watched more far left training than anyone in the world. And if you think you know someone who's watched more than me, please let me know. I have watched more than any anti-communist in the world. There may be actual communists who've watched more than me, but there is not a single anti-communist in the world that has watched more far left training than I have. I have gone undercover at their events in person multiple times. James Lindsay has never done that. Konstantin Kisin has never done that. Colin Wright has never done that. And yet they claim to be the experts on what the far left believes, and they're going to call me a psychopath because I'm saying, here is what the truth is. Reality is this. There are millions of people being misled by the classical liberal sect of Twitter. There are millions of people who are being lied to and misled by James Lindsay. There are millions of people who are being lied to and misled by Konstantin Kisin. There are millions of people who are being lied to and misled by Colin Wright. And you don't have to take my word for it. Listen, you don't have to like me. You don't have to like my tone. You don't have to like my attitude. But I have the primary sources. You never have to take my word for it. Just come onto my channel. Come to one of my streams. I will show you what the real far left is saying. And you can think I'm a bitch all you want. You can think I'm crazy all you want. You cannot like my hair. You cannot like my voice. You cannot like my personality. All that's fine. But the primary source evidence is the primary source evidence. And we need to be intellectually honest about this. Because when you look at what the real far left says, what the real far left does, how they're operating in the world, it debunks everything that the classical liberals like James Lindsay and Colin Wright and Konstantin Kisin are saying, and that is why they're calling me a dangerous narcissist and a psychopath and a sociopath, which, by the way, none of them have a credential to actually diagnose. I'm the actual psychologist. None of them are. So, you know what? If you want to ignore primary source evidence, do so at your own peril. Your kids will suffer for it. I promise you. This is the big thing they're upset about me with today. They said, she's dangerous because she told someone that your kids are going to suffer. Guess what? If you ignore what the real far left is doing, because you have a job or you don't want to look at it or you don't have time or it's all so scary, if you make the choice to ignore it, your kids are going to suffer. Because the real far left is going to win. At this rate, because so many people are misinformed, because no one is really tuned in to what the left is doing, because you have all these big-time influencers that are lying to you to make money, to sell a political narrative. The real far left is operating completely unopposed in this country right now, and they are winning, and their goal is, and I have them on video saying this, violently overthrowing the United States government. When they win, your children are going to suffer. You're going to probably suffer too, because it's probably going to happen in our lifetime. But your children are absolutely going to suffer. And when they do, it will be your fault. Because you didn't take responsibility for protecting your kids by listening to what was actually going on. If primary source evidence is presented to you and you make the choice to ignore it, you have to own the responsibility for that, and your kids are the ones that are going to pay the price. I'm trying to sound the alarm. I'm trying to show you what's happening. And the classical liberals are saying, don't listen to that bitch and look at her primary source evidence. How dare she contradict our narrative? Because they can't debunk my evidence. That's why they're doing this. I will issue an open call to all three of the classical liberal cucks. James Lindsay, Konstantin Kisin, Colin Wright. If any one of you wants to debate me on what the real far left is doing in this country, I will debate you anytime, any place, as long as I can use primary source video evidence. That's my only stipulation. Now, I know none of the three of you have the balls to take me up on that, quite frankly, because I got bigger dicks than all three of you, figuratively, of course. But the bigger reason is that none of you can debunk my evidence. None of you can debunk it. So, that's your offer, boys. If I'm really so crazy, if I'm really so psychotic, I should be pretty easy to beat in a debate, right? So, we'll see who takes me up on it.